Tim, what a powerful movie. What a powerful story. What does it feel like here 3 years after filming for it to finally come out and for your family to experience it last night and see what it was like?
Well, to wait this long has given me a different perspective. Where at first they approached us right after the operation had happened. To be able to see that these operations are continuing through the organization I founded called Operation Underground Railroad, and the one that I'm the CEO of, the Nazarene Fund. That these stories you're seeing on Sound of Freedom are continuing to happen, and so that allows people to be part of it. Last night was very special, as you pointed out, because my family was here, and most of them hadn't seen the film, and especially my children who've sacrificed so much not having me around because of these continuous operations. I'm hoping, and I've talked to them a little bit, I want to talk more to them, but I'm hoping they can see that their sacrifice was a real one. The sacrifice of me and my wife sacrificed so much, living the life sometimes of a widow almost, and that they could be blessed, and I hope they are blessed for their sacrifice and helping children. That's what they ultimately sacrifice for as well.
Right. What was it like? I mean, I just can't even, when you're watching the movie, you just can't even hardly believe that this really happened. But what was it like, the Island Sting, which was a brilliant operation, saved so many children. What was it like that day being there?
Well, it was October 11th, 2014, and you saw at the end of the movie they showed some real footage. Well,
Yeah.
there's a lot more where that came from, and there's a documentary that's coming out that Angel's also distributing called Triple Take. It's won 3 Emmys, 2 Tellys. No one's seen it, but it's the full story of what happened on that island. It wasn't 54 rescued; it was 122, I believe.
Wow.
They didn't even have the bandwidth in the film to tell that entire story, but it was very emotional. It was one of the few times I went to the set of Sound of Freedom was there, and they filmed that scene about a mile or two from the actual location, the actual island. And I fell apart. I broke down watching because it was so incredibly accurate. They made it look exactly like it was. They made the kids look how they were. The reaction to them after they were rescued, it was very, very touching to me, very emotional, somewhat triggering, but also beautiful to experience that scene and experience over and over again watching the film.
When you come back from this, you're talking about being away from your family for so long, but then let's say you come back to your family for a little bit or whatever you're visiting. There has to be some kind of decompress or PTSD or something that happens where you have maybe a time to yourself. How do you adjust to normal life after that?
It's very difficult because you can't, PTSD is a real thing. It's definitely something that I have to deal with. And the decompress time is important, but sometimes you don't know when it's going to hit you. It can be a week later, 2 weeks later. I'll be in a movie, be at church, or just be sitting on my couch, and it hits you. It's like a wave you can't control. It's like some energy or something trying to get out. I don't really understand it, but there's nothing you can't prepare too much for it. You can just continue to train your mind and spirit. And to me, faith is very important, a very important tool for healing, and it's something you have to deal with. If you're going to get into dark work like this, there's no way around that piece, and it's part of the sacrifice. It's just part of what you have to do.
When you're in the dark corners of the world and you see so much darkness, how do you remind yourself that there's light? How do you remind yourself that there's good and that God is still there and in control, and there's a big picture?
So for me, I think a lot about Jesus, to be honest with you. I think about the fact that even if I fail, He is coming again. That's my faith, that's my belief, and that there will be healing everywhere. To know that, I don't know that I could make it otherwise. And that the kids, once rescued, that they can be healed. Maybe not fully in this life, but eventually that will happen. The other thing that helps me through it is words that Jesus said. They're words that show up in the film because Jim Caviezel ad-libbed it into the script. And I won't say where he says it because it almost seems out of context, and then you realize it's right in context.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
When he says better that a millstone be wrapped around your neck and you toss it to the bottom of the sea, than that you should hurt one of these little ones. Well, he didn't realize that's a refrain. That's a scripture I quote to myself as I'm going into dark places because I know this much that Jesus is violently oppressed, violently opposed to children being hurt this way, so much so that he uses language that can't be just called anything but violent.
Right.
But he's expressing how he feels, and if he feels that way, then I know he's got my back, and that I will have the courage, knowing that God is with us.
Yes. Thank you so much for talking to me. I think our time's over, but I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. Thanks for all you do. It's a hero's tale, and I'm excited for everybody to see it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.